right, I am very excited. I am building a fairy garden. Have you ever heard of them? I'm so excited. This is a new project for me, and I love to garden, but my back started to hurt, my elbows started to hurt, and it was like I couldn't do my big garden. But fairy gardens are something that draw me. I've seen them on the internet, I've seen them everywhere, and I've fallen in love with them. I see them at Renaissance fairs, and they're just so beautiful, and I thought maybe if I built a fairy garden, I could inspire a fairy to come into my life. So I went to this store that's about an hour and a half from me down in Tustin. They have a beautiful website. I think it's fairygardenexpert.net. So check it out. It's M&M Nurseries. And they have everything. And they have samples of different gardens and stuff like that. Very exciting, very cute, very whimsical. And I decided that I wanted to create a fairy garden for a fairy that loves to read. So I want to create this little glen and glade that she can go with her friends, take her books, and have just a good evening of reading, a day of reading, whatever it is. So here we go. You start a fairy garden with a pot. Now I chose a pot that's a hanging pot because I want to put it outside my office, except you can see that it has a conical bottom. Whoops. So I had to put it in something so it would be steady so I could fix it together. So I got my grandmother's old flower pot, this little lovely urn, and I stuck it in. It's a good balance. Now I've filled my pot with dirt, and I already started adding some baby tears at the back. The baby tears create sort of a mossy base so that all the creatures can have this mossy ground to go on. So I'm going to put a little more moss in there, okay, a little more grass, and it's baby tears. All these plants that I have on the table, they're miniature plants, and they go in the shade. And my little nook outside my office is a shade nook, so I'm excited that it'll work there. And I'm going to hang it on a hook, and hopefully it will bring fairies and creativity into my garden in the back. So I'm sticking these all in, and we'll just you sort of push them around, nudge them, massage them at the bottom so that the roots can say, yes, yes, I want to grow in this pot. All right, and I'm sort of putting my grassy, mossy base all the way around. So that's empty already, okay? And it'll grow. All the baby tears, they'll grow a lot. All right, so then you want to have a feature. Everything in a fairy garden is by scale. So this is going to be a tree, a big giant redwood tree, right? And I'm gonna put it in the back. And if you sort of center it, but just a little off center, it gives you a feeling of drawing you in, a 3D feeling into your story. So this story being that she's got this lovely forest that she likes to visit. Now in this forest, in addition, I'm gonna get that a little deeper. There we go. Okay, there we go. And I already massaged that one. So in this forest, she loves to have hummingbirds come and visit her, and this is a miniature fuchsia. It'll have beautiful purple little flowers, and it will entice hummingbirds to come visit my fairy. So we're putting that in, and you can see that it creates this big bower. If I'm smart, I'll get some wire and maybe create a bower out of it. You can buy things like gazebos and put this up and over the gazebo, and it will just sort of bower. But I just wanted it to be a little wild in this fairy garden. Now, I also have little small, these are miniatures as well, and they'll look like, because of the scale of this big tree, these will just look like little bushes when I stick them in. And they'll give scale and scope to the whole garden. So I'm going to just tuck this in like this, and tuck this one over on the other side. And then what I have are these beautiful, I don't know what they are, beautiful little white and pink floral bushes. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. I'm going to try to figure out what they are. I'll call the nursery and say, what did I buy? But they're perfect because they create, again, just a little hint of color, right? A little pink and white. And they almost look like, you know, from a distance, they'd look like azaleas or something, right? And azaleas would be gorgeous in a garden out in the forest. So you can see I've created my garden now, right? Now I've got all these other little goodies, all right? So I got a little walking bridge. I wanted something to invite you into the garden. And underneath that walking bridge, there's going to be a little river. So I got these little green stones that glow in the dark. So I'm going to place my stones out here and then put in my bridge and place a few more stones so that you can see that the water, I'm not going to create a water feature because a water feature is way too much for me. I don't know how to put in all the all the tubes and everything else. I'll get there. I may do one of those in the future, but for now, I'm just creating a little water image in this garden, and I will give you close-ups of this afterwards, but you can see how I'm putting them in. So all my little green stones, and those glow in the dark, so that'll be fun at night if I want to go out and see what's going on. I have something else that glows in the dark. This is a little lamp, and I want my fairy to have a little reading light, so I put that in right there. All right, now, she has some friends. I have some birds on a bird feeder, and I'm going to just tuck that in the back. Birds like the protection of the trees, and so I think that this would be an appropriate place for the birds. This is a little mushroom. Fairies like mushrooms. They can sit on them. They can nestle on them. They can read on them. It's a perfect place. I have a little squirrel with books. This is my fairy's friend. He's bringing all the books, and so of course he's going to come and visit her right up front because he is going to be one of the main events. So I'm going to stick him in there and let him just be offering his books to her. In addition, I got a little wishing well with a cute little dog on it. How cute is this? And so the wishing well belongs in here because, of course, when you're in something like a fairy garden about reading, you have to wish for really good books. So I'm going to tuck him over there, and he's just getting a little lap of water. In addition, I have a sign, Fairies Welcome. Well, Fairies Welcome, of course, belongs right at the front. So we'll just put that sign, tuck it in there. I have another sign that I fell in love with. I saw this, and it was just so cute. It says, under the starlight, fairies dance throughout the night. How lovely is that? So we're going to tuck that sign, maybe over by the end of the wishing well over here. I think it'll hold itself. Yeah, that holds pretty well. Then, my fairy has butterfly friends. Everybody needs butterfly friends, and I think I'll just stick them in the back because butterflies are everywhere, and maybe they will want to be with the hummingbirds. One last little thing I've got, and that is a lucky ladybug. Ladybugs are important. They keep other bad bugs out of a garden, and so ladybugs are good for any garden. So we'll just tuck it in, again, right in the front. And last but not least, my fairy. Now, this is a garden fairy, and she was created by Cecily Mary Barker. She was born in 1895. This is a reproduction, and she created all these beautiful, beautiful fairies. Well, the fairy that I'm creating is Fiona. She's a blue fairy. She's carrying lavender. She is a reader. She is a righteous fairy, and she will make sure that the right things happen at the right time. So she's a reader, and I'm going to tuck her back in here, and I'm going to have to come around front to make sure that she's nice and steady. I hope you can see that. Oh, she is. Perfect. This is crowded, but it's okay to be crowded, all right? You can always do less. You can always pull out. You can always trim your trees because they're too big, but I think I've sort of gotten what I wanted. Turn it just a little bit so you can see it. Yeah, I think I've gotten what I wanted. So I'm going to finish up here. Obviously it's a mess. I'm doing this outside, so don't do this inside. There is a lot of dirt. There's a lot of mess going on here. Sparky is inside because he would be sort of nosing around, so I didn't want to do that. Anyway, this is my fairy garden, my reading fairy garden, and I'm very excited about it. And you can see how quickly it can go together. What takes time is shopping for the little items so that you know which ones you want in. That's not for the faint of heart because you want to buy all of them. So anyway, there we go. I've got a fairy garden. I'm very excited about it, and I will share more as I go along, okay? Have fun. Enjoy. This is the end result of my fairy garden. You can see all the little pieces of it with Fiona and her lavender and her little friends, her bird friends, the mushroom, the little squirrel carrying his books. Oh, and then right tucked over in there, the dog finding the wishing well. I love it. This was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed it.